Hi everyone, my name is Bill Stanton. I'm your Director of Curriculum and Assessment here in District 118. If you weren't able to make back to school night, I just wanted to make this video for you with the help of Mr. Gurn to give you a walkthrough of what the standards-based report card looks like this year for our third grade students. This is a pilot year for the district, and the pilot is third grade district-wide. So what we're going to go through today real briefly is just going through the parent handbook that's available on the website and walking through each grade and what you can expect on your student's report card. So we're going to transition to the handbook at this time. All set? Okay, from the district website, this is the D118 district website. You're going to go down to student or school report cards. Student assessment. So you'll go down to student assessment, click student assessment, and on top you're going to see the standards-based report card pilot handbook. I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. That's going to take you to the PDF that we went ahead and posted. This was the handbook that was passed out at Back to School Night. But again, if you couldn't make it to Back to School Night, we want to make sure you know what you're looking at. So the first page, as you can see, is just our cover page here. And the second page is the letter to parents and guardians. This would be a good read for you when you get your student's report card. This is from me. And again, my name is Bill Stanton. And it kind of talks about the reasons why we did our standards-based report card. The next page you're going to see is the description of the grading criteria. So the standards-based report card is very similar to the report cards you've seen before as far as it has marks. Now what changes is instead of an A through F scale, you have a X through 4 scale. The X through 4 scale does not reflect an A through F scale, meaning A is not a 4, B is not a 3, C is not a 2, D is not a 1, and 0 is not an F. That's not accurate. What this instead is doing is measuring your student's level of proficiency with each standard. There's a description of each grading criteria on this page, and I would go ahead and put your attention towards this so you can take a look at this and really understand what those marks mean. Generally speaking, though, 4 is mastery. That is above and beyond what we would consider the goal. The goal would be a 3, which is proficient. Proficient just means that your student is at the level that they should be at this particular place in time. A 2 is inconsistent, which means satisfactory performance part of the time, but not all of the time. And then 1 is emerging, meaning that the student is still showing emerging skills in this particular standard. And 0 means no evidence. So that would mean that a student has received 0 points for 100% of the assignments this quarter. All right, that's going to be a rare mark. And 4 might also be a relatively rare mark after first quarter. An X would mean it's not assessed during this grading period, and that's similar to what you've seen with your K through 2 report cards. The next page discusses teacher comments. For all intents and purposes for the pilot for third grade, we will not be doing teacher comments. If you have any questions about that, please contact me. The next box is learner characteristics. What we're going to see with the learner characteristics is a scale from consistently to needs improvement. Okay, consistently being the 4, frequently 3, sometimes 2, and needs improvement 1. You will not see any other marks in this category except for 4 through 1. And these learner characteristics are directly related to our PBIS effort or our MTSS effort, whichever you prefer. And this is the multi-tiered systems of support. What you're going to see is it reflects our behavioral matrix at each school with be responsible, be respectful, and be safe. And the characteristics that the teachers chose have direct influence on the student's performance in the classroom and the student's performance in the behavioral matrix. Student evidence determines grades. You have just a list here of what evidence does determine grades. All the formative and summative assessments that are in our data collection service determine grades, as well as teachers' impressions in a school day if the grade is on a sliding scale. The next page that you're going to see is the boilerplate page that you'll see go home with your students. And that would be the grading and report card reporting beliefs here, the report card design and grading elements, and that's just an overview of something that's already in the handbook. So you can take a look at those marks again if you like. And then the learner characteristics, of course, and it gives the learner characteristic categories. Now, I apologize for this page. It's in profile, but it should be landscape, which is difficult to turn that. This is the report card that you're going to see, and I'll start here in the upper corner here, the right side of the report card. will list the students' art, music, phys ed, science, and social studies grades. At this time, those grades are still on an A through F scale. Reason for this is we have not adopted a standards-based curriculum for those subject areas yet. Rest assured that the curriculum is still standards aligned, and your student is getting absolutely the best education possible with those standards. Now you'll notice in the middle, you have English Language Arts and Math. Both of these are standards-based curriculum. Math with our Go Math series, and English Language Arts with our Wonders series. Those are both recently adopted in the last 2 years, and they're 100% standards-based. We're really proud of this curriculum, and thus produce the standards-based report card. Here you're going to have the 43210X as indicated here at the top. And again, I apologize for the profile page. It is slightly difficult, but if you turn it, if you print it off, it will help you with that. On the left-hand side, you're going to notice the Be Responsible, Be Respectful, and Be Safe categories with the various characteristics that the teachers chose that highlight good learning behaviors and habits on our behavioral matrix. And those will be 4-3-2-1 scale again for quarter 1. So the next page is some frequently asked questions. This is entirely for you to take a look at, and it just kind of goes over in detail what I've been talking about. If you have any questions regarding those, just details that I just gave. And one thing I do want to highlight on the facts page here is a student might not receive the same grades or a standard score on each grading period, meaning quarters 1 through quarters 4 may have different standards marks. The reason for this is there are different target objectives or standards that are assessed on each quarter. We do spiral back, and you will notice that some students stay pretty consistent on the domains, but you'll notice in other cases that a student may fluctuate a lot. That could be because of the standards and their increase in rigor. What I would suggest at that time is that you talk to your student's teacher and discuss with them exactly how your student is doing with each particular standard. I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb. The whole idea with the standards-based report card, and this kind of reiterates that, is opening up communication lines with your student's teacher. So please make sure to call if you do have any questions about their goals and how they're performing against the standards. Next page kind of discusses standards-based report card in special education and biliteracy. So we will be launching the standards-based report card district-wide next year, but this year all of our students who are special ed will be receiving the standards-based report card as well if their special ed teacher has been participating in the pilot. The students who are ELL or bilingual will not be receiving the standards-based report card this year because the standards-based report card is still being produced with their specific SLA standards. But next year, all of them will be receiving the standards-based report card. The last page you're going to see here, the second to last page you're going to see here, are the 4 main components of a standards-based system, so you have a little bit of background. We start off with a standards-based curriculum. We go into standards-based instruction. We have standards-based assessments, and then we have standards-based grading. Standards-based grading is really the pinnacle of what a standards-based curriculum, a standards-based system is. So please take a look at that at your leisure when you have time. And then the learning standards scale, that's the last graphic on this page, really shows you that the target is proficient. We want to stress that. All students' targets are proficient. If a student reaches mastery, that's excellent. What you may notice here in the first quarter is that mastery is achieved more often. This is because most of the skills that the students are receiving in the first quarter are review or are foundational skills that we would expect that the students would master at this time of the year. You may notice in quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4 that less mastery is achieved. That's okay. Remember, the goal is proficient. And then finally, the last page of this handbook gives you some resources, and these are live links. If you want to go ahead and copy and paste them, you might even be able to click them in some cases, where they will take you to the Illinois Learning Standards, which the standards-based report cards are based on. The Illinois Learning Standards are based entirely on the Common Core Standards, which is your second bullet point here. We have a video for you discussing what standards-based report cards are from Rick Wormley, who is a leading scholar of standards-based report cards. And then we have an article for you from the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development. This is an article reference discussing the benefits of standards-based report cards. And then finally, we have the Illinois Standards-Based Reporting website. This is directly from ISB. Now, ISB is shifting to standards-based report cards basically statewide. They're promoting it. It's not a full-on adoption yet, And it may never be a full-on adoption, but they're certainly promoting it because it does create more communication lines between teachers and parents, and we can more closely measure students' achievement according to the standards, which of course are the basis of most things that we are trying to do here for your student in District 118. So thank you very much for your time today. I hope this was a nice quick overview for you, and I hope it clarifies any questions you may have. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My extension is 9305 if you go ahead and call the district office, or you can email me at wstanton at d118.org. Thank you very much.